He was the tutor to the most powerful man on earth, the student of history's greatest thinker, and a runaway fugitive accused of treason. His ideas would shape empires, found the very framework of science, and define what it means to be human for 2,000 years. Yet, in his final moments, he was, by his own account, a man who understood nothing. This is the story of a mind that sought to know everything. This is the story of Aristotle. Our story begins not in the sun-drenched marble of Athens, but in the wild, northern periphery of the Greek world. Around 384 BC, in the town of Stagira, a rocky outpost on the fringe of civilization, a boy was born into a world of medicine and monarchy. His father was the personal physician to the king of Macedon. From him, the young Aristotle would have received his first lessons in biology, in dissection, in the empirical study of nature. This was not the abstract philosophy of the Athenian academies. This was knowledge grounded in the physical, the tangible, the living world. It was a foundation that would forever set him apart. But this childhood of privilege was cut short. Orphaned young, he was sent away, his future uncertain. At 17, with a modest inheritance, he journeyed south to the luminous heart of the intellectual world, to Athens, to study under the most famous man alive, Plato. For 20 years, Aristotle walked the shaded colonnades of Plato's academy. It was a world of dazzling brilliance, where the highest form of reality was considered to be perfect, unchangeable forms existing in a realm beyond our own. The physical world was merely a shadow, an imperfect copy. Plato was a poetic idealist, his gaze fixed on the heavens. But Aristotle, the doctor's son from the provinces, always kept his feet on the earth. He was the most brilliant of Plato's students, his mind of the school, but he was also its most profound critic. Where Plato saw shadows, Aristotle saw substance. He could not accept that the world he could touch, smell, and dissect was an illusion. For him, true reality was here, in the specific, tangible things around us. This fundamental disagreement was not a betrayal, but the birth of a new way of thinking. When Plato died, Aristotle passed over to lead the academy, left Athens. It was not an end, but a necessary departure, the first step in a journey to found his own school of thought. He traveled to the coast of Asia Minor, married, and continued his studies. But his life was about to take a dramatic and political turn. He received a summons that would tie his fate to the rise of a new power. King Philip II of Macedon, the same kingdom his father had served, requested his services. His task? To tutor the king's son, a tempestuous and brilliant teenager named Alexander. For several years, Aristotle attempted to pour the sum of Greek knowledge, ethics, politics, philosophy, medicine, into the mind of the future conqueror. He gave him a copy of Homer's Iliad, a book Alexander would later sleep with under his pillow, dreaming of heroic glory. It is one of history's great intellectual relationships, and also one of its most enigmatic. Did Aristotle's lessons inspire Alexander's insatiable curiosity, his desire to explore and catalog the world? Or did the philosopher, who believed in the ideal of the civilized Greek city-state, watch in horror as his student unleashed a whirlwind that would forever shatter that world? Their parting was inevitable. Alexander's ambition was for empire, Aristotle's for understanding. With Alexander marching east, Aristotle returned to Athens, a city now under Macedonian dominion. Now, a man in his 50s, wealthy and renowned, he established his own school, the Lyceum. This was his masterpiece, his laboratory. Here, Aristotle did not just teach, he orchestrated the world's first great research institution. Unlike Plato's academy, which focused on abstract mathematics and metaphysics, the Lyceum was a hive of empirical activity. He and his students collected hundreds of constitutions from Greek city-states, creating a database for his work on politics. They dissected animals and cataloged species, laying the foundations for biology. They studied rhetoric, physics, ethics, and poetry. He would walk the peripatos, the covered pathway, as he lectured, earning his followers the name Peripatetics. His method was systematic. Observe, collect data, categorize, and then reason from the specific to the general. He was building an encyclopedia of all human knowledge, piece by meticulous piece. But the political winds shifted once more. In 323 BC, news reached Athens that Alexander the Great was dead. The anti-Macedonian sentiment, long simmering, boiled over. Aristotle, with his close ties to the Macedonian court, was an obvious target. He was charged with impiety, the same charge that had condemned Socrates to death decades before. He would not let Athens sin twice against philosophy. In a final, poignant act, he fled the city, leaving the Lyceum in the hands of his disciples. He reportedly said he wished to spare the Athenians from committing a great crime against the mind. He died in exile a year later on the island of Euboea, a man without a country, his life's work seemingly at the mercy of fate. His physical presence was gone, but his mind had already been etched onto scrolls, a vast intellectual empire of thought. His work is a cathedral of ideas. He gave us the very vocabulary of thought: logic, category, energy, potential, substance, essence. He argued that virtue lies not in grand gestures, but in the habitual choice of the rational mean between extremes. He defined man as the rational animal and the political animal, whose highest good is to flourish through the use of reason in a community. For over a millennium, his work was the Philosopher, the foundation upon which Western science were built. He was the compass that guided us, until the scientific revolution dared to question his authority and look at the world anew. So, who was Aristotle? He was wrong about many things, but his greatest legacy is not the answers he gave. It is the questions he asked. He taught us that the purpose of life is to live in accordance with reason, to engage with the world, and in doing so, to actualize our unique human potential. His story is an invitation to look at the world around you in all its magnificent, messy detail, and to never stop asking why. The quest he began continues, and the map he drew for that journey remains, to this day, an indispensable guide.